Welcome to Hate to Wait, where two lifelong dieters talk about their current struggles with weight loss. Diets, we've tried them all. We are not doctors. We don't play them on TV or on this podcast. Join our journey because we're all in this together.
Hello, Emily.
Hi, John. How are you?
I'm better.
Yeah.
It's been an eventful week since last week for me. It started right after this podcast.
After last week's podcast.
After last week's podcast, yes. I got a call, and my aunt had been in the hospital. I didn't realize she had been in the hospital, and I got a call from my sister that it's time to get up there because we don't know how much longer she has. And by the time I got ready to get out of the house, I got a message from my cousin that said that she had passed. So we had that going on. My sister was coming up here anyhow because my oldest daughter was graduating. So from Thursday until, I don't even know if it hasn't even stopped yet. Every day has been packed with all kinds of crazy things. I had 2 doctor's appointments. So when I went to my weight loss appointment, I had lost 2 pounds and I got a talking to. So that was lovely. And I guess for me, the thing is that this isn't working and what I'm doing is not working. A little bit, but it should be better. I should be doing different things and I would get better results. And it should be obvious for me as I've been contemplating the ass chewing. It wasn't an ass chewing. It felt like an ass chewing. They were nice. And firm but fair.
Yeah.
As I was going through this and I was contemplating what they were saying, I was rolling it around and all. I'm like, well, you know what? You've been doing this for how long? And you're kind of really stuck in the same place. So maybe you just shut up and stop being such a know-it-all. Or maybe just do what they tell you. I would try that for a little while. Let's try that. And then, I've had some swelling in my legs, which is called lymphedema. I've had that for a while. I had to go to doctors for that. I have to have my legs wrapped. So I went through that on yesterday, and that's a whole nightmare in itself. So
what does that mean, get your legs wrapped?
So in other words, like I have swelling in my legs. And when your legs swell so much, you have so much fluid, sometimes they'll crack and split, and then they'll leak. So when I finally got to the doctors, I had like 7 splits, wounds. They call them wounds.
Wow. So
they have to put things on them and then wrap them tight. And you're supposed to take them and have them rewrapped you're supposed to have all that stuff changed every other day. The problem is that the insurance I have won't pay for it. How am I supposed to do it? So now here I am. I woke up this morning, one of those things that already started to work, so my legs started to stop. Some of the swelling went down on one of my legs. So all that wrapping and everything was like around my ankle. So now what am I supposed to do with this thing today? So that's lovely. So now I have so I'm going to try to talk to one of my daughters to see if I can get her to give me a hand until I can get some of this stuff straightened out. But so it's been one thing after another, after another. On the good side, just about every day I've been up over 1,500 steps, which is huge for me.
Yeah, wow.
The day of the funeral for my aunt, which was Tuesday, I was up over 3,000 steps. So for me, that's huge.
Yeah.
And so we're just marching on. But one of the things that I realized, because I had to go through graduation and, so there was a lot of steps going on through that. And then the next day on Saturday, there was a graduation party, which I had to go through. And not had to, but, so it's a lot of going out places, because what I did realize through this whole week is I've cocooned myself in here very nicely. I've made my lifestyle fit what I can do. I really haven't pushed out to do more. The less I could do, I just would accept it. I can't do that anymore. And I kind of proved to myself this week that I can do a lot more than I think I can. A lot of it's painful, but it is what it is. So that's what's going on. I talked to them about a date, and they're saying more towards the end of August. Mm-hmm. But I have to lose some weight, and we're going to start using a liquid diet more. And I was banned from fast food. Banned, I tell you.
Wow.
No more. That was it. No more. So today I have to go out to Walmart and I made a shopping list and everything. So I got a bunch of stuff coming in here, and that's it. I'm done.
Do you know about your diet after the surgery? What that's going to entail?
Well, it's going to entail a lot less. I know that after surgery, you're still on a liquid diet for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then you can incorporate things like eggs. And then anything you're going to do, you've got to kind of puree. You got to put it in a food processor and kind of make it the consistency of baby food. So that's for another 2 weeks. And then I remember Michelle in the group, she had messaged me that she had, when after her surgery, she had like a 3/4 of a scrambled egg, and it was like the best scrambled egg she had ever had. But 3/4 of a scrambled egg. So
I wish they would go in while they're already doing surgery on you.
Mm-hmm.
Can they do something to your tongue where food doesn't taste as good? Can they just take
I thought you wanted them to cut it out.
Just cut out the sweet receptors or something.
So I have to go back to, and it sounds so stupid when I say it, but it is the truth. Certain food for me is like alcohol is for an alcoholic and drug is for a drug addict. I know it sounds so crazy and stupid. And people say, it's all in your head. But yeah, that's true. It is all in my head. Whatever lights up that portion of your brain that gives you pleasure, food does it for me. Like I said, there's up in my refrigerator now, there's beer up there that's probably going to expire.
Yeah.
The bottle of Jack Daniels here has been sitting here since I've had this for 4 years. It's been here. I don't do any of that. Drugs aren't really anything that I've ever dabbled in or tried. So it's just whatever. That is the thing that it's an addiction, and I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's an addiction for you in your head because that's something that you have been dealing with, so that when other people come in and they're like, oh, you can't be addicted to food. I feel like for you, you're kind of like, this sucks. People are telling me I can't be addicted to food, but here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Erica in the chat says your taste buds will change after surgery, at least for a while. So good.
That's interesting. I would love to know the science behind that or why that, or maybe that just automatically happens. I don't know. That's really interesting.
They kind of explained it. There's a certain part of your stomach that's at the top of your stomach is where your stomach tells your brain that it wants more, or your brain tells your stomach or something like that. It's where the communication is. And they take that out. When your stomach gets removed, that portion comes out. So hopefully
that's
you won't.
Interesting.
You won't have that hungry feeling. But there's a lot of time that I'm not hungry because I'm hungry. I want food because I'm tired, I'm bored, I'm happy, I'm sad. All the reasons you should have it.
I almost wish we had a little receptor that they could implant in our stomachs that's kind of like the gas tank in your car, where the gas will just stop when it hits that certain point. Like, can you put that in my stomach so it's just like I don't have to wait the 20 minutes? Because I actually did that the other day. I know that some people have said that 20 minutes thing of feeling full is false, but it actually worked the other day for me. And I was really surprised. I think I had 2 pieces of pizza, and I was like, normally I would grab a third because pizza.
It's one of my triggers. I can't stop.
There's no end. I feel like my stomach turns into a bottomless pit. That little, whatever that nerve is up there that tells you when you're full, it doesn't work with pizza for me. So yeah, Erica's saying ghrelin, I think it's pronounced, or ghrelin is the hunger hormone, and it regenerates after about a year. Oh, that's great. I've heard that with intermittent fasting too, that it helps regenerate that hormone. So, but I know, were you doing intermittent fasting? Are you giving that up? Are you not going to do that anymore?
I don't think I can intermittent fast after I get done here, because what I have to do is your stomach is the size of a banana, and you have to get in 100 grams. From what I understand, you have to get 100 grams of protein in every day, and you cannot eat and drink at the same time. So in other words, when you eat, and then after a while, when you can, you drink, and you're going to be sipping water all day long, like that big container, that water reminder. Yeah, there's no way I would be able to drink. It's just your stomach can't handle it. You'll fill it up, and then you'll get sick. Oh, and then because I'm on blood thinners, they told me that they're going to take you off blood thinners, and they give you this thing where you have to, the blood thinners is where it's an injection in your stomach. And I've had those before, and my God, did they hurt.
Oh.
Yeah, they hurt. And the thing is, what they do is they calculate the dosage by the size of you, how much you weigh. So when I had this problem before, and I think I was lighter, I was getting 2 shots. like 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And they would come in, and what happens is it leaves bruising, and you have to do it into your stomach, like into your lower part of your stomach.
No.
So I remember when I got out of the hospital, I had like this bruised smile. When I lifted up my shirt from the bruises, it looked like a smile, like a jack-o'-lantern smile. So, yeah, so I had to go through that too. But again, I have no one to blame but myself. And the other thing is, I can start blaming myself, or I can just go through with this and just say, all right, well, now it's just time.
Yeah. I mean, what does blaming have to do?
Well, because the reason I'm going through this is because I did this to myself. I could have fixed this earlier if I'd come to this conclusion, but I didn't. I guess it took me all this time to come to this conclusion.
Yeah.
So it's tough. And again, people that are out there that are struggling with this, that are in their 30s, that they're in their 40s, I'm begging you, go get help before it gets to be where you lose 20 years of your life. Okay, so what aggravates me the most right now about the way I am, my condition and the way I am, is there's things that are going on that normally I would be able to take care of. But because I can't walk or bend down or kneel down or stand for more than 5 minutes without excruciating pain in my legs, that I can't do anymore. Case in point, we've had all this rain. You on the East Coast, I'm sure you're getting pummeled with rain too. So the hose for my washer that goes into has a sump pump. The sump pump is broke, and now the water's coming in and it's gushing, and I can see it, but I got to pull the washer out. I got to get back in there and try to fix it. I can't fit back in there to fix it. Normally, this would have been a 5-minute job. Rip the washer out, pull the pipe out, get the new piece of pipe, put the pipe back together again, and everything would be done. Now it's a 3-day thing. I got to find somebody to do it. I've never felt so helpless in my entire life. Like I said, I cocooned myself down in here. I just let my world shrink instead of doing something about it. So anybody out there, don't be like me. Take care of it now. You think you got time, and you do. You got all the time in your life. But what happens is it slowly creeps up on you, and you slowly stop doing things until you get to a point, and then you realize what a big change is. So the same way that if I would have slowly did something, instead of having negative outcomes, I would have had positive outcomes if I would have just slowly started making those changes. So that's really what I'm coming through right now. I'm not in a good place right now.
Yeah.
Emotionally right now, I'm not in a very good place at all. It's just, like I said, it's been a real rough week for me. A ton of emotions. I don't know if you just heard that, but that pump just went off again and water just sprayed up the wall. So every time I see that, I
gosh.
I get aggravated. And, here we are. And then maybe I'll just, when I get done here, maybe I'll just rip that washer out myself and just jam myself in there and try to fix this thing anyhow. I don't know. I get mad. Mad. And then when I get mad is when I do most of my work. So anyhow, big week for me.
Yeah.
Pies, happy,
that's a lot you're going through. You're talking to Sam about it?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I have. But see, I've been and then the other thing is I've been so busy with the Revive Live show. We've been doing that every day this week. And that was the other thing because I can't take the whooshy pill. I cannot take the whooshy pill because I can't just stop in the middle of the show and run to pee. I can't, because I can't run to do anything anymore. So it takes me a while to get to the bathroom and get back. So I can't do that. So I've made up my mind. I don't care what happens. As soon as I get off that show at 2:00, I'm taking that pill. Today, as soon as I get done here, I'm taking that pill. And I don't care. I'm taking it every day, and I don't care what I have to do to get done with it.
You are always welcome to take that pill before the show, and I can vamp around you if you want.
Just get and run. I will. I will take it. I promise. And so the things that I've done since last Thursday is I have now a whole bunch of protein drinks that they told me to get. So I'm going to 2 protein drinks and 1 small meal a day. So this
is that a big change for you? Like a huge change, or can you ease into it?
I don't know. I to be honest with you, I thought I was doing okay. My calorie count seems to be all right. It was okay. Okay, so with my FitnessPal, I know if I look at my FitnessPal, I know the days where I've been a bad boy because they're the days I don't post.
Yeah. And then,
but that's not totally true because the days that I cook and everything, I'm like, well, how much is this? How much chicken is that? Is that how much? So I don't know what the calories are. So I don't put it in there either. So, but I've looked back at my fitness pal and I haven't put stuff in there. So now I had the protein shakes and I got to get used to drinking protein shakes anyhow. So I might as well start now.
Yeah.
And see where we go with this and give it a try.
Now, at any point after the surgery, do people get used to eating that way, or do you still have to count calories after the surgery? Or is it really just portion size at that point?
Well, I think after the surgery, and this is for what I hear from people that have went through it, is you can eat. You know, if you want ice cream, go eat ice cream. You can only eat like 2 spoonfuls.
Yeah.
That's all you can eat because then you feel completely full. So you want steak, you can have steak. It's like 2 pieces, 3 slices or something, like small slices or something like that. You can have that. Or you want mashed potatoes or a baked potato or whatever you want, you can have it. Now, this is after you go through, I would say it's probably going to take 4 to 6 weeks before you're back on a real food diet again. After the surgery, might be more, 8 weeks after you're back on a real food diet. And again, I'm guessing, but what people do is they start grazing or they start, so what they do is they graze all day and they graze on high calorie or food. So then they actually trick the diet. So instead of eating meals or whatever, eating when you're hungry, they're grazing all day. And that calorie count goes up. And they're eating high calorie chocolate, candy, stuff like that when they can, instead of eating green vegetables. And so this is what scares me to death is afterwards that will I go back and do stuff like that. But to be honest with you, I'm not on ice cream anymore. I'm not on candy. I'm not on sugar. I don't think I would do that. You know, me, I'm not a grazer and I'm not a snacker. What I am is a binger. So when I sit down, it's on.
Yeah.
Like I eat a lot in a sitting. I won't be able to do that anymore. So hopefully that'll stop. But I've seen people put weight back on after surgery. That terrifies me. I'm not going to lie. I was going to say, Mindy says protein drinks mixed in coffee is so part of my sleeve life. Yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do. You're going to have to try to incorporate that the whole time.
Yeah. When I was doing a lot of protein drinks, I bought collagen, actually, powdered collagen, and it has protein in it, and I could mix it into, you just have to get, I was trying to get a lot of protein, so I was mixing it into everything. I was mixing it into macaroni and cheese. I was mixing it into coffee, because it basically dissolves. It didn't have much of a taste. Mm-hmm. It does, if you don't mix it fast enough, and if you put it in too quickly, it can get gelatinous, because it's collagen. It's from
fat.
Yes.
Oh, it's like bone marrow kind of really sort of.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but collagen's awesome if you want to start adding that for easy protein to your coffee.
Yeah. Well, this is what I did. I threw caution to the wind and I'm doing what they tell me. I'm not trying to I know more than they do. When I first went in, I was such a pompous ass. I was like, oh, I've been studying this for a long time now and you don't know what you're talking about because I've just read a study. What an idiot. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to shut my mouth and do as I'm told.
Premier Shake is your creamer. That's brilliant. That sounds really good, actually.
I've tried that, and I have one. It's ugh.
What flavors?
I tried caramel, and I tried chocolate, and I've tried vanilla.
Oh.
So I kind of need to. I don't know. I'm a coffee creamer purist. Maybe I'll get used to it. Yeah. Same way when you started drinking beer. You know, when I first drank beer, I was like, ugh, how does anybody drink this?
Yeah.
Coffee. When I first started drinking,
got used to beer. I never got used to it.
Coffee. When I first started drinking coffee, I hated it. I was like, oh, how do people drink this? And I put tons of sugar, tons of cream in it. And then as I went on, I started dropping down the sugar and dropping down the cream.
Yeah. In high school, when all my friends were drinking, I didn't get into drinking because I hated the taste of it. And I remember my senior year finally going to a party where there was drinking, and my friend's like, come on, you've never had a drink before, why don't you try one? She made me a screwdriver, and I went to the kitchen and I started adding sugar to it because it was so gross. She finally came in, she saw me on my third thing of sugar, and she's like, Emily, just throw it out, just don't drink till college. No, you're gonna ruin it.
Erica says statistically your odds are better. The grazing is a big one to put the weight back on, and starting to drink while eating. You want the food to stay in as long as possible. Drinking fluids flushes the food out and makes room to eat more. I never thought of that. I never thought of it that way. How about that? Well, we're getting all kinds of stuff in the chat. Gen Pro powder, add it to everything.
Gen
From-
Pro powder.
Yeah.
I think that's
from Brenda.
Yeah. The grazing thing is interesting. So with me growing up, and maybe you were the same way, my mom always put liquid with our dinner.
Mhm.
And then when I got married to my first husband, they never drank with their food. They never did. And I couldn't understand why. And they said because it washes it down, you don't actually get to feel. That was the first time I had heard that when you drink, it washes all that food out of your stomach. And this is without the sleeve or anything like that. Actually, I think a few of them had lap bands. So maybe that's where they had heard it. But they did not drink with their. It was so weird. Like, I remember being the only one getting up in the middle of big family dinner and getting a glass of water and then having everyone watch me come back and being like, why are you doing that? I was like, how do you not eat with something to drink to wash it down?
Okay, so Mindy says, I find it impossible to overeat. I get so sick if I overeat. I hate the feeling. That's what I'm praying for because I despise feeling sick.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that I feel sick so I can't overeat. That to me, that'll make me stop overeating more than anything else.
But you also have to want to.
Want to what?
Want to stop overeating. You know, like you have to turn it around as just like when you're overeating, for me, it becomes a celebration. I kind of tell my mind, okay, we're going to overeat. And then my mind hears that as, we're going to go to a party and this is awesome and we're going to make a thing of it. And then imagine thinking, oh my God, I think I have to change it to if I overeat, it's like going to a party. But Emily, you hate parties. You're an introvert. You last for about 2 hours and then you start looking for ways to leave without saying goodbye to everybody. So.
Yeah, but, from the last episode when we were talking about, binge eating, why don't you come in and talk to people before you binge? And it's because you don't want anybody to talk you out of it.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with you have to want to stop overeating. Yes, that's true. But there's a point where you want to stop, but your body, your mind, your everything tells you you're going to, let's just do it. No one's going to know. No one's here. No one's going to know. Don't tell anybody. Don't ruin this. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, we turn it into a party for ourselves.
Yeah, sure we do. Even though it's horrible.
It's like the worst party. It's like a pity party that you throw for yourself.
Right, afterwards. Erica says, grease and sugar will make you sick too. The dreaded dumping syndrome. That's what that's called.
What is that? What is dumping syndrome?
Dumping syndrome is if you eat sugar or alcohol after this, or sometimes if you eat bread and you get it, it's the dumping syndrome. You're just sit there, you just dry heave.
That sounds awful.
It is awful. I've seen people go through it, and I saw a friend of mine go through it for 45 minutes. I was like, I wanted to take her to the hospital. I'm like, this is it. We're going to the hospital. No, it won't be. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I think that's what made me stop going to get the surgery before. I was like, that I won't be able to handle.
Yeah.
If I get into dumping syndrome one time, that'll be the end of that. We won't be doing that anymore. It'll be the Bob Newhart thing.
Stop it. Stop it. I love him. I love having him in my head now. I think that's been my favorite thing this whole week is just Bob Newhart's gentleness, but also screaming, stop it.
Yeah, so that's where I am right now. And I appreciate you letting me dumping syndrome right here.
Yeah.
So what's going on with you besides traveling and being all kinds of busy and doing everything, all the things?
Yeah, doing all the things. That's kind of what it feels like. So from last week, my mom is better. They've stabilized her medication. They got her back on it. Her liver isn't as terrible as they were worried that it would be. So they were able to put her on medication. It's weird because I talked to her yesterday and it was kind of like back to quote unquote normal mom, which I don't get along with. So I was like, man, I worried about you for 2 weeks and now you're back to like this. Come on. That's better. That's kind of a weight off of my mind because I don't like not knowing either way. And that was the thing. It was like, we have no answers. I'm like, okay, can you give me some scenarios? And they're like, we don't know. And I'm like, just give me something to hold on to is like, this could happen. It was really just like, your mom's liver might be toxic. And I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean? Like, nobody would tell me. That's what I hate. When I talk to the doctors, they're very nice and they're very gentle with me. And I feel like I have to tell them, I'm like, look, my mom and I are not close. Like if you tell me bad news, I mean, we're close, but if you tell me bad news, I'm not going to flip out and climb the walls and fall down on your feet. I'm going to take it. I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to process it the way that I process it, quietly and venting to my husband and crying, like, don't worry about me. Please just tell me. That's all I care about.
Did they?
No, that was it. They tested everything. Well, they didn't know anything until they finally tested, and they were like, "Okay, we're gonna start her on her meds again." And she's out of the hospital, so that's good. She's back home and driving me nuts again. And I'm like, why do I pity you? Because I don't know. Sometimes when she's manic or crazy, she's actually kind of nicer to me, and
Right.
that sucks.
Isn't that right?
That sucks. I hate that.
Yeah.
I don't like that because I'm like, that's kind of the essence of my mom that I want to remember. But then when she's off her medication or when she's on her medication and she's quote unquote back to normal, I can't stand her sometimes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's terrible.
Yeah. It sucks. I don't like it.
No, I can imagine.
Yeah. So dealing with that, doing a lot of travel and actually planning. I feel like all the planning I've been doing for She Podcast Live, which is the women's podcasting conference, men are welcome too, but we're planning it with women in mind. All that planning I've been doing with Jessica over from She Podcast, that has been helping me so much. And just having those positive female influences, actually, it sounds so weird, but I didn't have many close female friends. I would have a few and I would get really close to them. But I always had this feeling like they're going to be taken away from me. I'm realizing this more and more, just all the relationship things I've had with my mom. It's affected my friendships. It's affected my relationships. It's affecting my relationship with my daughter because I'm seeing the differences between how I act with her versus how I act with my son. And I'm like, I kind of need that female influence, that positive female influence right now. So that's kind of She Podcast Live came at kind of the perfect spot for me. So I'm really happy to be involved in that and worrying about that. As far as dieting and everything, I wasn't sleeping well because of the stress. And as I've said, usually around the full moon, I get kind of insomnia. And so that's been happening that week. And of course, that affected my weight. I'm still in my window. And that was the thing with all the stress. All I was saying to myself was, as long as you're in your window, don't worry about it. I know, I've been trying to eat healthier and get more food in me. But for right now, I kind of need to go on coasting with this. And I know with intermittent fasting, that's why I love it so much. If I go into coasting mode where I'm just eating within that window and I'm not trying specifically to get the really healthy, nutritious food, I'm just eating, I know I can maintain. And that's kind of keeping me going is like, I know I can maintain. And then when this stressful period is over, I can get back to really putting a lot of focus on what I'm eating and bringing into the house. That's a big thing, is what I'm bringing into the house. Because I can justify it 7 different ways to say, well, it's for my husband. Well, it's for my kids. Well, it's for after this when I'm going to want to eat it. Or, I'll just have a few bits of it. I can justify it. And it's all lies because when shit hits the fan, that's what I go to. The good thing is that I have noticed, so we have chocolate covered almonds right now, which I think is a step up from just chocolate. At least there's some protein in there.
Okay.
I like your nod of just like, okay.
No. I was like, well, I mean, let me think about that for a second. Is it a step up or?
Yeah, it's better than just chocolate, I think. Because I think the full chocolate, at least you get a little bit of protein with the nuts. Okay,
Right.
So chocolate covered almonds. Normally, what I would do is just take the whole container, take the top off. I might as well just throw the top away and just bring it with me and walk around with it. This time I was putting it on a shelf, and instead of grabbing a handful, I would grab one at a time as I was doing other things. So that when I passed that shelf, I would grab one at a time. It's made those chocolate covered almonds last probably about 2 weeks, which
okay.
is, 10 or 11 days longer than it would have lasted.
Right.
So it's those tiny little things that I know are making a difference, but realizing that right now in my life, I have a lot going on and food doesn't have to be my focus. It should be. I should be trying to get nutrients, and I am. I try to get at least a few vegetables a day. That's my big thing is like, did I have a vegetable today? And if I can't remember if I had a vegetable, then I go to the fridge and I just, take a bunch of carrots and shove them in my face. But
Okay. It's better to take a pause and be mindful about that pause than just say,
Yeah.
screw it.
yeah, I don't want to screw it. That's the thing. I mean, I'm still doing yoga every day. I didn't know when this became a goal or when I wanted to really try to do it every day. I think I was just seeing if I could at first. And then it's not even an addiction, but I just like doing it. It's the one time a day where I know I don't have to think about anybody else for 10 or 15 minutes. I can think fully about myself and I can let go of that selfish feeling of I'm not allowed to think about myself. I should be thinking about my business. I should be thinking about what I have to do. I should be thinking about my mom. I should be thinking about my dad. I should be thinking about my kids. I should be thinking about my husband. Oh, my house is a mess. And for 10 to 15 minutes every day, which isn't a lot of time, but at the time, it feels like it is. During that time, it's all me. It's all, hey, my body moves this way. Hey, I'm really grateful that I can do this. Oh, I wasn't able to do this last time I did yoga. Oh, a month ago, I wouldn't have even tried this pose before. And just having that, I love that. I love that in my life so much. I'm like in my yoga clothes now. I just did yoga and I'm like, I am so happy for that tiny little piece of solace every day that I get to look forward to. And the same can be said with intermittent fasting and why I liked it so much is because I knew every day I could look forward to my window opening.
Well, you're right. And I see so much change in just the time that we've done this show for you, not just through weight loss, but I see you coming out of your shell more.
Yeah, I think I am. I think this podcast actually has pushed me a lot because we go live every week. Going live
True.
used to scare me. I went live by myself yesterday in the group because I was like, I know you guys are expecting a live video, so here I am. Just to say that we're not going live today.
Which was great. Yeah.
Yeah. I find it easier too because sometimes I want to type and I'm like, let me just talk.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. Even now, like with text, they have a thing now where you can just send a voice to text.
Yeah, I've started doing that more, especially driving.
Yeah, but it's not a voice where they misspell the words.
Yeah.
It's actual your voice goes to them. They hit a button and it plays to them. And I like that a lot better than texting. But some people don't. So I get that. Don't send me those.
Well, I get that too because I have my phone on silent a lot because I don't really want noise to come out of my phone.
True.
I get it. But there are some times when I'm in the car, I want to Voxer everybody. I'm like, why isn't everybody on Voxer? And that's the only time I want to use Voxer is when I'm in the car and I can just press that button and talk and then they get the message and then they can say it to me. But I mean, I have Android Auto. I don't know if you have that on your Google Pixel. So Android Auto is really great. It will read your text to you while you're driving.
Oh, I didn't know that. Is it
Yeah.
is it a thing on a phone or is it an app?
I think you may have to download it separately because that's Android. You have to
Okay.
download everything separately. Not many things come with the phone. But it's called Android Auto. You can get your maps on there. It integrates with Google Podcasts too, so that it's nice and big. You see what's going on while you're driving and stuff.
Oh, I will definitely have to check that out.
Yeah. Also, you can take this out, but I found this out this morning. If your phone is locked, your Google Pixel is locked, and you press the lock button twice, it opens the camera.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I found that out today. You could take that out, but I figured that was a little Google Pixel trick that I was like, why don't people tell us these things?
Yeah, exactly. That's like it's a secret. It's like you're playing a video game and now you just unlocked an Easter egg or whatever they call those things.
That's what it is. And you know what? I mean, maybe we'll keep this in because this is actually kind of relevant. I've been noticing, especially with new podcasters coming on the scene in podcasting, but I think in general, we keep getting all these tools. All these tools are being made available to us all the time. It's going to make our podcasting easier. If we're talking about podcasting, it's going to make our dieting easier. It's going to make our lives easier. It's going to make our schedules easier. It's going to make integration with email easier. All this stuff, and we're getting new technology, and it's great. I'm really happy about the innovation that we're seeing. But as humans, we keep going to these shiny new things, and we're not learning the actual tools that we need. So when people go to start a podcast or when they start a diet, they're like, well, this isn't intuitive enough for me in the first day. I'm going to quit this. And then, oh, but here's something new and shiny. Let's go over here and see if no, it doesn't work for me. And it's like, just take some time. Just learn the tools. Learn what you need to learn. And I've noticed that with people asking me, my friends asking me about intermittent fasting. They get on a DM with me. They DM me and they're like, so tell me about this intermittent fasting, as if it could fit into a few sentences of a DM that I want to sit there typing out. And I'm like, okay, well, the very basics of it is don't eat for 16 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the very and I want to tell them that. I'm like, if you really want to go basic and you don't want to do the research, here's how it will work for you. Don't eat for 16 hours. Okay, well, how about coffee? You can have black coffee. But what about cream? I can't have coffee without cream.
Then you can't have coffee.
And they're like fighting with me. And I'm like, then don't do this diet.
Right.
Don't fight with me. I didn't make this up. This just works for me. I'm not a coffee drinker, so it works out really well for me.
These aren't my rules. I didn't invent this.
I know. And they're just like, okay, well, what about coffee with
No.
like zero? I know. I'm just like, no. They're like, but it has no calories.
So
yeah, no.
Here's the thing. Once you say coffee with, the answer is no.
Yeah.
Unless it's water.
Yeah.
You can put more
Coffee
with water. Yes.
And it's funny because then they're just like, well, I can't drink it black. And then I'll say something like, oh, well, okay, if you're worried about the bitterness, if you use a pinch of salt, it'll take the bitterness away. I found that I have my black coffee with salt whenever I want it, and it's perfectly fine. And they're like, but that's salt. So can I have salt? And I'm like, look, do you want the rules? Go read the book. Go read the 200-page book that I read, because this is not a DM conversation. I can't tell you like all this information from the book. You need to learn to do it. You need to take the time to learn the tools. I feel like I'm on an Elsie rant right now because she goes on these rants on She Podcasts too. It's like, learn the tools before you go to Facebook or you start asking people. Just learn them.
Right. You should be able to send this.
Stop it!
Yes! Oh, Barb Newhart, I love you so much. He's going to die and I'm going to be just devastated.
But we'll always have.
Stop it!
Stop
Right.
it. I love him. I love him. Don't die,
like,
Bob.
So
Newhart.
can I have coffee with?
Stop it!
No, I get it. And I think that's what happened to me when I went to the dietitian and they sat me down and they brought the nurse practitioner in. And I was like, well, I started saying something, and in my mind, she didn't say it, but she was basically saying,
Stop it!
okay, just do what I tell you.
I know, and it's funny. You're talking about going to the doctor and acting like you know more than they do and stuff. And you're kind of realizing like, oh, maybe I should listen to them. And we see that in everyday life. People come into new situations, and I'm sorry, I always bring it back to podcasting because we're both podcasters. But people come into podcasting, and all of a sudden, all right, I've seen how to do it. I've watched one YouTube video. I'm all set. No, this isn't the way they say to do it. And I'm like, okay, well, just get behind a mic. Try it out.
Yeah, exactly. They watch one video and here they come. And then we've been doing it for, 7 years.
Yeah.
But see, the 24th of June. When was it? When did I say what my first episode was? Was it July 24th or June 24th? I forget. But anyhow.
I thought it was June.
June 24th.
June,
so, yeah, I'll be coming up on 7 years of podcasting. That's a long time. Yeah, and I don't do these things willy-nilly. I'm giving you my experience. I've made these mistakes. I've walked this path. Trust me. If you want to go down and make all the mistakes, by God, go ahead. Have fun.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about anybody in our group, by the way. In our group, the people who have reached out and asked about intermittent fasting, they're interested in our books. Not our books, but the books that we've read, the videos we've watched, the resources we have. They know that dieting isn't like a one-size-fits-all solution for everybody. And you know what's funny? I remember tweeting this probably a year ago because I got really annoyed at this book I was reading, and I don't even remember what the book was, but I got really annoyed at this sentence of just like, but you have to find what works for you. And I got mad because I was like, no, what's been working for me sucks. This is why I'm reading your book. Don't tell me do what works for you. And now I'm realizing, oh yeah, you kind of have to do what works for your lifestyle, not just what works for you. Okay, everything chocolate, and
Taco Bell every meal.
That works for me.
It doesn't work. Yeah, exactly.
No, but it's more like learn the basics, learn what you need to do, fit that around your lifestyle. If it doesn't fit around your lifestyle, if you're giving up family, if you're getting sick, if your health is declining, that probably doesn't work for you. Don't do it. Anyway.
I agree. All right. So you want to get into some Winning Wednesdays?
Let's do that. I feel like we've kind of been What book? Okay, so the book that I read to learn intermittent fasting was Delay, Don't Deny. It's by Jen Stevens. She also refers a lot to the obesity code. And I've read a few things from that. That's a big book. That's one of those just like...
I never heard of the obesity. Obesity Code is a big book. How ironic is that?
No. I mean like large.
Yeah.
A large book, a very thick book. Oh, I see what you did there. I was thinking you meant a large book like you hadn't heard of it.
No, it's a large book because obesity's large.
Yeah.
The book's large. Just makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah, Delay, Don't Deny is the 200, I think it was about 200 pages. Some of it is the appendix. The appendix is just fascinating because she talks about the studies in there that they've done to find out why it works and how it works. Like, she's done her research. That's what I really like about her. But anyway, let's get into some Winning Wednesdays.
Winning Wednesday, Winning Wednesday, Winning Wednesday, Winning Wednesday.
Okay.
And we have voicemail.
We do have voicemail. When do you want to do the voicemail? Now or after the Winning Wednesdays?
Well, we have 2, right?
We do have 2. You think on that for just 1 second because I have to answer a question in the chat. In the chat, all right, someone said something about using the voicemail, and that voicemail is... Hate to wait voicemail line 760-WINNING. Call in when you want. So basically, the line is there. All right, we get the voicemail, and then Emily sends it to me, and then I grab it. So they were saying, is it just for Winning Wednesdays? No, it can be for anything. If you want to talk about a topic, so just send it.
Yeah, Erica mentioned, this was what she said in the chat. I was wondering about the winning phone number, the winning voicemail. We could also use it for a support topic / question during the podcast. Easy to use on the run in the moment. So that's something. So maybe if we have a question in the show, and because it's not a call in. That's the thing. It goes right to a voicemail.
Yeah, it just goes right to voicemail. It's not a call in number.
Yeah.
We might do that. We might have that in a little while. As soon as I get over and grab this lovely little Roadcaster Pro.
Yeah. It's waiting for you, John.
Yeah, I have to go over there and grab that.
Hurry, boy, it's waiting there for you.
Oh, my God. That was perfect. So that has phone line capability. And in the chat here, I mean, right here inside, I'll put my phone number in here because it's just a group.
Yeah.
And then they could call in and we could have them online. So that would work too.
We could do that. Yeah.
We could do that. So anyhow. Let's get into some Winning Wednesdays.
Winning Wednesdays. And we already sang it too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we did.
And we did the line. If you missed it, 760-WINNING. You can call in, leave your voicemail.
We did that.
And let's go with one voicemail. Let's sandwich the Winning Wednesdays with voicemails.
All right, here we go. This is from Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, this is Dave Jackson from the School of Podcasting.com. My Winning Wednesday, or just winning period, is I have a bad habit. I love Chipotle, but every Chipotle where I live is next to either a Dairy Queen or a Wendy's. So I go to Chipotle, I get my mouth on fire, and then I go to ice cream. And this week, I basically said, I'm done with ice cream. Went to Chipotle last night, and I said, skip the Coke, give me a glass of water, and go easy on the cheese. And I did not get any ice cream. So, reinforcing those good habits. Keep up the great work, guys. Love the show.
Yay, thanks, Dave. And if you heard him, he is from the School of Podcasting. Both John and I have learned so much about podcasting from Dave. So this is kind of a nice plug for him. If you want to start a podcast, definitely go to schoolpodcasting.com and see our friend Dave, and we'll have a link in the show notes.
Yeah, because he teaches you the right way.
Yes.
He does. Been doing it forever and ever and ever, and he's a great teacher. And a really, really nice guy. The funny thing is like when he pick up the phone and go, "Hey, Dave Jackson from the School of Podcasting."
I think that's just his full name at this point.
His full name is Dave Jackson from the School of Podcasting. It's too funny.
Yeah, I mean, he goes to the deli, and they ask for his name for his order, and all of a sudden his order is up. Or maybe he goes to Starbucks, and they have to write the whole thing on the cup. Dave Jackson from the School of Podcasting.
The girl's looking at him as she's still writing and just like giving him side eye as she's writing on the cup.
I would do it. I mean, it's Dave though. That's the thing. It's Dave.
Yeah, he has to get he has to get a Venti just to get it all on the cup.
Anyway.
All right. Ingrid, I made it to the gym on Saturday, my day off. No excuses. The side note, usually work on Saturday, so I don't go to the gym. There you go.
Erica reached a new second number today, 112 pounds down.
Wow. That's a whole person.
Yeah.
Amy says down almost 3 pounds this week. Yahoo!
Woo. Brenda's down 1.7 pounds. The scale finally moved, and she is also at 92.8 pounds lost total. Wow.
That's almost 100 pounds. Latasha says new second number, down 3.4 pounds. Look at this.
Oh, so great. Victoria got down to half a pound shy of her pre-holiday weight. Another weekend away, scuppered that. I just keep going, knowing I can fix it. That's great. That's wonderful.
Elaine says my BMI is steady at 29.9. No longer obese, just plain old overweight.
Yay! Yay. Oh my goodness. Those categories. Fuck you, obese and overweight categories. Like, just no. I don't.
Hey, I just want to be obese.
I know. At one point, I was telling my husband, because I think I'm now technically obese. I'm no longer morbidly obese. And he said something, and I don't think he realized just like what the threshold for morbidly obese was. And he was just like, oh my gosh, can you imagine being morbidly obese? And I was like, technically I was for a long time.
Yeah. Can
like
I
he
imagine?
just he did not understand, because when you hear morbidly obese, you think my 600-pound life. You don't think, 270 pounds. Mindy, I'm down 60 pounds from my highest weight. So happy. Oh, and without a belt, my pants fall down. Love that non-scale victory. I will say that is an annoying non-scale victory in an airport when you're running to catch a plane and your pants keep falling down.
Yeah, that
I
is
had
tough.
that experience.
Elizabeth said, down 2.6 pounds. It's starting to feel like I am out of plateau. I've been walking about 2.5 miles 3 times a week. Wow, that's great.
Brendan, waist down another 1.5 inches in the last month. Yay. I switched.
Shane says, I don't currently have a scale, but last Saturday I completed my first 10K and it reignited my passion and drive for the healthier me.
Yay.
You know what, Shane? So you don't have a scale. You're out running 10Ks and eating healthy and feeling healthy. Fuck that scale. Oh,
yeah.
New t-shirt. Oh, we got to talk about the t-shirts. Don't forget about the t-shirts. We'll talk about the t-shirts.
We do have to talk about the t-shirts, yes. Scott says, for a non-scale victory, I am now a new Instapot owner as of Father's Day. So far, I've had seasoned chicken breast and salmon. Now I just need to find more Instapot-specific healthy recipes to keep these wonderfully delicious, quick, and good-for-me meals coming.
Absolutely. I need to do the same thing. Scott,
Oh,
we should
Instapot.
start. You know what? I'm going to start putting some Instapot recipes in here. Because
yes. I would love that because, I have an Instapot and I loved it for about 3 weeks because I kept just making veggies and rice and chicken. And now I never want veggies and rice and chicken out of an Instapot again. I'm sick of it. Even though it worked all the time and it was so good,
Yes.
after a while you're like, even if I switch up the veggies,
Right. You're right.
I don't know.
Stephanie did most of a 3-day fast for pain management, not weight loss. I lost a pound anyway. It stayed off for another week. A 3-day fast for pain management.
This is interesting, actually. I saw an article in another group. I think it was Jen Stevens' group, the Delay Don't Deny Facebook group that I'm a part of. Someone put an article up there saying that if you fast, probably doing a water fast, I'm assuming a water fast where you just drink water for 3 days, your white blood cells will regenerate and your immune system will get stronger. It's really good for your immune system. And when we say don't eat for 3 days, we're not saying, okay, eat for 3 days, then eat, then, stop eating for 3 days again. No, fasting for the most part, your body can handle fasting. In fact, many of our bodies were made for fasting when you look at the science behind intermittent fasting and why only eating a few hours a day instead of grazing throughout the day has worked for many. So, yeah, that's great.
And also, I got to say, we are not doctors. So
No.
anytime you're going to do something like this, go talk to your doctor before you do anything like a 3-day fast or something like that. Make sure it's your doctor approves this, because Stephanie, congratulations on that. And I think that's fantastic. And trust me, I have a lot of pain in my knees and everything. And I'm definitely going to look into this and talk to my doctor about it. But just don't go off half-cocked and do stuff that could hurt you.
I know. We have to put out that disclaimer because we're not doctors. We're not.
We say that in the beginning.
Yeah. That's why we say it in the beginning.
That's why we say it in the beginning. But I think right now we just need to put that on there because, I looked at it and I'm like, ooh, maybe I can do this too. So
yeah.
I think that's a great, Stephanie. I hope it worked for you.
Yeah. And I'll find that article and I'll put that in the show notes. And we have one more Winning Wednesday.
Hey, John and Emily. This is Tamara calling from California. I'm calling for progress updates. So for my scale victory, I've lost 4 pounds from last week. And then for my non-scale victory, evidently I've lost so much weight, I'm actually going to have to buy new bras. I was at work the other day and I bent over to pick something up and a boob just completely fell out my bra cup. So looks like this weekend will be spent bra shopping. To everyone listening to the podcast, keep up your good work, keep up with the progress, and can't wait to hear your next episode. Have a great day, guys. Bye.
Oh, how funny.
I tried
amazing.
to find a pop sound effect, but I could not find it fast enough before the show started today. I wanted that for that.
I should put a warning out. John is very quick with the sound effects. So if you have a voicemail
and I have time to prepare, there might be a sound effect in there.
Oh, that's such a fun non-scale victory.
There you go. And then she also adds, because she forgot to leave this on the voicemail, she says, I've reached a 50-day in a row fasting milestone through the Zero app.
Yay.
Thanks, Tamara.
Yeah, those who use the Zero app, let us know how you're liking it.
Mm-hmm. That's great. All right. They are our Winning Wednesdays, and you know what that means?
Oh, boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time for the moment you have all been waiting for. It's time for the weigh-in.
Okay.
I don't want.
I don't want to either.
All right. I'm up 3.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's really interesting because it's not quite PMS week, but I have a feeling it's the sleep.
Okay.
It's just, I don't know.
You know what?
I don't
even want you to get upset about this because
no, I'm not.
Right.
I'm really not in a way because I'm back up to what I was before last week. And last week was one of those like fluke. Well, I don't know. Last week was just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. And you know what? I'm just going to keep going. That's all I'm going to say. Just going to keep going.
Right, exactly.
Just keep doing my thing. Trusting the process.
And for me this week, I'm up 3 pounds because I think it's because of the fluid. But I'm down 2 pounds from last month, which doesn't make any sense. Anyhow, so, because when I got on the scale, when I went to the dietitian's, I was down 2 pounds from last month, which really makes me mad because I was down at least 10 before I started swelling up like a tick.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm doing what they tell me. I'm just going to shut up and do what they tell me. So when we get done here, I'm going to have a lovely protein shake and a bottle of water.
And your whooshy pill.
And, I'm going to take my whooshy pill with my lovely protein drink. And then I'm going to pee like a racehorse. And then I'm going to tonight, I'm having rotisserie chicken and Brussels sprouts for dinner. I already have it picked out. It's up.
Great.
It's upstairs. I just, heat it up and boom, it's done. And that's one of the things they told me. They said, listen, you don't want to cook. They have chickens. They make them. They put them. You just go get a chicken. The problem with rotisserie chickens is you get them, but they go bad fast. I can't get like 7 rotisserie chickens, and I don't want to freeze them because then you got to cook them again. It's a nightmare. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just go get 1 or 2, and that's the thing where I'm going to the grocery store. I know exactly. I'm going to beeline to the chickens. I'm going to get me a couple of chickens, and I'm heading out. Here's the best news of the day. New Jersey tomatoes are in. Yay! So for the next, until September, we have fantastic tasting tomatoes. New Jersey tomatoes are in. So I'm going to get me some of those. Have a nice tomato salad with some cucumber, a little olive oil. There you go. I'm getting excited for fresh vegetables that are coming in, and we'll go from there. So there we are.
If anybody out there is listening and they are looking for an amazing drive-through idea, drive-through rotisserie chicken. Crap, that's a thing, isn't it? Popeyes is a thing. But I mean, I just want to go somewhere and have them hand me a rotisserie chicken.
Where you could get Boston Market? Does Boston Market have a drive-through?
I don't know if any around me do. That would be interesting. Yeah, just...
That is a great idea, of drive-through rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
And all the sides.
That's all you would need at the store, Just make it simple. Just give me, doesn't have to be in a wrapper.
Yeah, you're driving home. You want to get chicken and some vegetables. You want a home-cooked meal, and you don't want to stop at, Popeyes or all those. I mean, it is chicken, but it's not the same kind of chicken. And you just get, mashed potatoes, green beans, corn, spinach if you wanted it. And, they're your sides. And it's you drive through. Or then it's not that big of a deal to go into the supermarket. It is for me right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's and it would be so much money for you to order it delivered to your house every day.
Yeah, you can't do that. And so and here you go. It's just going to add to my steps.
There you go.
Okay, so instead of just going to the drive-through all the time, I'm going to go to the grocery store and get a rotisserie chicken. I might even eat it in a parking lot. No, I'm just kidding. All right, boy, have we yabbered on.
Yeah. Well, we're almost at an hour for recording.
Yes. All right. So if you want to join us here at Hate to Wait in the Facebook group, we would love to have you. Go to hatetowait.facebook.com and always go to hatetowait.com for all the show notes and the links and all the work that Emily does behind the scenes that puts them in there, all those links for everything that we talk about on the show. She does an amazing job. And our voicemail number is 760-WINNING. Call in when you want. We'll be here for you. All right. And we'll be back next week. And I still say, even though we were up, honestly, I feel this has been a real eye-opening week for me. I think I've made a lot of progress. What's that word? Progress. That word.
It also hasn't been just us. Has anybody else felt the past few weeks have just been crazy hectic with everything? Everything is happening.
I know, but you go through the Winning Wednesdays, down 3.6, So people are out there doing it, and that's great. I applaud you. We're doing it. It's just we're not having the same scale victories. But this week was a lot of non-scale victories for me.
Yeah.
I want a non-scale victory.
Me too. I will say that.
All right, so we'll be back next week, and thank you so much for listening. Bye.
Bye.